When I think about sundown communities, I'm thinking about communities that intentionally create systems that prohibits African Americans from living in the area. So when I think about, did I know Appleton was a sundown town? No. You know, people always ask me why I came to Appleton, and on one hand, I tend to say maybe it's more of it's part of my journey. I don't believe in coincidences. For those who don't know Appleton, Appleton is considered the Paper Valley, and in the Paper Valley, you have quite a number of paper companies. And my husband has a master's degree and PhD in paper science, engineering, and forest products. So he was recruited to the area, and living in Appleton was more of a professional opportunity for us.
Going back about 5 years, even before I worked at the museum, different curators had stumbled upon just little snippets of Appleton's early Black history. Certainly, historians had gone to the census and learned that there were several families living in Appleton from after the Civil War to about 1900. So there were all these little pieces that were out there. And finally, in 2013, we decided that there could be enough to do some sort of an exhibit to share, at the very least, the names and some of the experiences of Appleton's early Black families. We really found a very large and compelling story that documents a Black community in Northeast Wisconsin before 1900. A lot of the families had moved elsewhere by 1920, and so we don't have that large collection of oral traditions that would connect our current Black community to the early community that lived here after the American Civil War. So the history was very much marginalized. It was lost in oral traditions. It wasn't included in county histories. And so we really wanted to get that history out into the community. And what a better way than to launch it this last year in 2014 at Appleton's Juneteenth celebration.
This event is held at City Park downtown, and it's honoring the oldest African-American celebration of freedom in the country.
I think it's awesome. I always have a blast at that event in Appleton. I have an African-American advisory committee that I meet with on a periodic basis. And I remember them talking about Juneteenth. You know, before that, I didn't know what Juneteenth was. But learning about Juneteenth, the importance of that to the African-American community. So to me, this was like, yeah, let's do this.
We had some visionary leaders with the City of Appleton and Appleton Area School District. But these leaders saw that as a growth opportunity to make sure that we became more prepared and that we were proactive around issues in the minority communities and around racial issues, whereas we've seen other communities that may not have taken that type of an approach. There's a real reactive response. We also wanted to make sure that we became a more welcoming community, because Appleton, its history isn't exactly known to be welcoming to change, and it's not exactly known to be welcoming specifically for African Americans and Black people and Latinos and gay and lesbian, transgender folks. And so our city leaders saw that as well and wanted to make sure we made a change, and we made a very conscious change. 100 years ago, there was a very conscious effort to be non-welcoming in this community. So it was quite a shift, and it was a shift, I would say, that's really happened over the last 20 to 30 years.
This really is an opportunity for Appleton to demonstrate that it has come a long way since it was a sundown town in the 1920s to 1960s. And actually through this research, to learn that Horace Artis, as a Civil War veteran, was among the Black soldiers who went to Texas in 1865 and would have been part of the army that emancipated people in Texas where the first Juneteenth was created. That really speaks a lot. We also now, through this exhibit, know that we have this direct connection to the first Juneteenth in the United States.